Whoops. Hello, it's Michael E. Gerber speaking to you again, once more, again and again, here in Carlsbad, California. Today, we have a subject at hand. It's why most small businesses refuse to work and what to do about it. And so I'm going to be very, very direct with you about the answer to that question, what to do about it, and the discussion of why most small businesses fail. First of all, most small businesses fail because they're not businesses at all. They're jobs for the people who own them. Now, you've heard me say this, and you've come visited with me, and I know you have, here on Facebook, and some of you have actually read one or more of my books. The E-Myth Revisited, Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It, Awakening the Entrepreneur Within, How Ordinary People Can Create Extraordinary Companies Without Any Experience to Guide Them, E-Myth Mastery, the 7 Essential Disciplines for Creating an Extraordinarily World-Class Company, the E-Myth Manager, the most successful small business in the world. There's a litany of books. There are 29 books I've written on this subject. But I'm going to give you the definitive view from all of those books, the overview, you might say, why we're here today to share with you why most small businesses or big businesses don't work and never, ever, ever improve upon it. With all the stuff that's available to you, just like this on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on whatever, it doesn't make any difference. All of the info marketing messages that you're receiving, all of the experts on the planet, why is it with all of that, the abundance of that, the billions upon billions of that, people are still sucking wind big time and complaining about the fact that it just doesn't get it. They just don't get it. They're just frustrated every single day because all of this expertise on the planet somehow just doesn't turn into results for them. Besides which, who has the capital, the money, the cash to pay for all this help? So I'm bringing you the good news. You don't have to have a lot of cash to do any of this. Just have to have a mindset that I'm going to instill in you, despite your resistance, despite the part of you who says, yes, but Gerber, yes, but Gerber, yes, but Gerber, all you yes, buts out there on your butts here in Facebook land, yes, but Gerber, well, knock the yes, but off. You're here with the teacher who's going to teach you the righteous way to create a great growing company and to truly have a profound impact on the world. And it's a process. I call it the eightfold way. And by the eightfold way, I mean explicitly what I just said. There are 8 very important steps that every single one of you must take, whether you've got a business that's broken, whether you've got a business that's just starting, whether you don't have a business at all. The 8-fold steps, the 8-fold path is crucial. Now understand, I've been teaching this for years. We have dealt with the problems and the frustrations in every kind of company on the planet in 146 countries, in just about every neighborhood, every profession, high tech, low tech, no tech, attorneys, accountants, fence builders, painters, plumbers, HVAC contractors, landscape designers, real estate agents, real estate brokers, real estate investors, on and on and on and on. Name a job, we have worked with it and the person who did it to transform the way that person thinks so that we can transform the way that person behaves. And there's a fundamental several principles that you must accept here as ritual. This is ritual. You understand? This is the gospel. This is ritual and the gospel. There's nobody on the planet of business experts who can disagree with me. Not one of them. Because we did this on the street. We didn't do this in academia. We didn't do this in university. But of course, Steve Jobs didn't do it in university either. And Bill Gates didn't do it in university either. And Anita Roddick and the Body Shop didn't do it in university either. And Mary Kay of Mary Kay Cosmetics didn't do it in the university either. Nothing. No extraordinary company was ever built in a university. Universities think differently than people do on the street. I'm talking street-wise, street smart, street for you, because you live on the street. You do, don't you? You don't live in a cloud, not the cloud everybody's talking about. You live on the street. So let's be where the people are on the street. And let me just define the eightfold path. It's very simple. First of all, you must have a dream. And a dream is the great result your company is going to produce. You must know what that dream is. You must live it, breathe it. You must absolutely, completely be obsessed by it. Yes, because if you're not obsessed by your dream, if you're not obsessed with the great result you're here to produce, you're wasting your time and your life. Hear me, you're going to burn yourself out doing stupid work for every smart reason that every smart guy shared with you, all for naught, all for naught. There has to be a great result. In my case, our great result was to transform the state of small business worldwide. I said that in 1977. I'm 81 freaking years old. I said that in 1977 when I set out on this path that we're on to transform the state of small business worldwide. We've had a great hand in doing that. In fact, our work has been responsible for the success of more entrepreneurs in the world than any other individual or any other company can lay credit to. We know that. We know that because all of those successes come back to us continuously saying, we did it, Michael. We did it, Michael. We did what you said, Michael. We did it, Michael. We did it, Michael. I just want you to be able to do that here. Well, we're spending just this limited amount of time. I had a dream to transform the state of small business worldwide. Number one, the reason most companies fail is because they don't have a dream, not in the way that I'm speaking about it. Oh, they might say we have a mission, but all of that nonsense, that academic nonsense, hasn't produced anything other statements that don't mean anything on the street to real people. Do you understand? We've only helped real people. We haven't helped fictional people. We're not in a novel here. We're in a handbook here. In short, you got to be able to do the stuff I'm going to share with you. The second of the eightfold path, the second step, is you got to have a vision. Well, I just said you have to have a dream. Isn't that a vision? No, your vision is something quite different than the dream. You understand, the dreamer has a dream. The thinker has a vision. The vision is to invent the McDonald's of small business consulting. That's what we set out to do in 1977. Outrageous. Before we ever opened our doors, we had a vision to invent the McDonald's of small business consulting. We did. Hear me, we did. Today, there are no longer any small business consultants on the planet. And if there are, they're not making any money. And if they're not having any impact. No, what you find on the planet today that's replaced small business consulting are small business coaches. And you're inundated with small business coaches. Well, let me tell you, there would be no small business coaches had we not created the first prototype of business coaching on the planet. And that's what the Michael Thomas Corporation was. I was Michael, he was Thomas. We created our very first business development firm with a dream to transform the state of small business worldwide, with a vision to invent the McDonald's of small business consulting, but that still wasn't enough. We had the third step of the eightfold path, and that was our purpose. And our purpose was that every single small business owner on the planet, no matter what kind of business it was, high tech, low tech, no tech, I already said it, whether it was a professional firm or an unprofessional firm, whether it was digging holes or teaching people how to do the law, it didn't matter what the hell it was. You understand me? That it was, in fact, critical to us that what we did would apply to every single small company on the planet. So our purpose was that every small business owner who followed our lead and learned our system would effectively be as successful as a McDonald's franchisee is. Mind-blowing. Mind-blowing simply because McDonald's is the most successful small business in the world. Hear me. The most successful small business in the world. And you might say to me, Michael, McDonald's is a huge corporation. Yes, but that corporation is nothing other than an integrated set of very small businesses. McDonald's, 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 the Golden Arches, there they are, there they are, there they are, there they are, and look at how they work, and look at how they work, and look at how they work. The absolutely stunning system that enables them to produce stunning results every single time. Mind-blowing. And finally, we needed the fourth step in the eightfold path. And the fourth step was our mission. And our mission was to invent the business development system that was absolutely essential, through which we could deliver that spectacular result, that dream, that vision, and that purpose every single time through individuals who had no experience or expertise in business. Our business consultants, our business coaches, using a system that works flawlessly, faithfully, again and again and again. So understand what I'm describing to you, we've done. What I'm describing to you, we've applied to over 100,000 clients, more clients than any other company on the planet has ever dealt with. And those clients are in every industry imaginable. So whatever business you're in, whatever you're selling, understand we've been there, done that, been there, done that, been there, done that. And I'm going to be taking you someplace that we've never been before, to actually expand the reach of what we do to every single individual on the planet who would aspire to create an economy of one and to grow it into an economy of many. In short, we want to spread this wealth of knowledge because it's a system that we can apply to every single human being on the planet. Yes, entrepreneurs are made, they're not born. Entrepreneurs are made, they're not born. And we've been making them and making them for over 40 years. Now, I want to do the very same thing with you and with everyone you know. So those are the first 4 steps. Now, those 4 steps are brought to bear in the dreaming room. In short, we've been doing dreaming rooms. I've led 63 dreaming rooms now since I launched the very first dreaming room in 2005. Hear me, I've launched the very first dreaming room in 2005. It's an entrepreneurial incubator. But you understand, it's not to incubate the business, it's to incubate the entrepreneur. Because the vast majority of you aren't entrepreneurs, but in my language, you're technicians suffering from an entrepreneurial seizure. So all of this stuff I'm talking about sounds foreign and strange to you, and it's simply because you haven't internalized it. You haven't applied it. You haven't seen the brilliance of it. You haven't seen the impact of it, and you need to. Because until you can do it, you don't know it. Until you can do it, you don't know it. So understand, inspiration is critical because it creates an epiphany. Education is absolutely fundamental because it creates understanding. But application is absolutely critical if you're ever going to truly appreciate it, because you've applied it, you've done it. You said, wow, that did work, just like Gerber said. Imagine millions of people worldwide being able to be inspired to be educated, to be trained, to apply what I'm sharing with you. Just imagine that possibility. Every kid graduated from high school this year, 900,000 of them in these United States. Just imagine that every single one of those 900,000 kids who aren't registered to go on to college are registered to go on to Entrepreneur in Fact School. And that Entrepreneur in Fact School I call radical self-employment. Understand, I'm going to teach you from the ground up, where your feet are, where your mind is, where your body is, where your heart is, where your income must come from, and where your dream must take form. So hear me critically, absolutely fundamentally. We're bringing this to you so you can come join me in the dreaming room. You want to discover your dream, your vision, your purpose, and your mission. Whether you want to or not, you have to. You understand those are the first four fundamental steps to creating a great growing company. Without a dream, you can't make it. Without a vision, you can't do it. Without a purpose, there's no reason. And without a system, it's stupid. So you have to truly get this in mind. I have a dream, I have a vision, I have a purpose, I have a mission. Write that down. Now I'm going to extend an invitation to you here, and I'll do it later on as well. Go to Gerber81.com. Gerber81.com. If you have difficulty remembering how to spell my name, it's Gerber, Gerber like the baby food.com. Gerber81.com. Go there. It's the landing page for the Dreaming Room. Sign up. Our next Dreaming Room starts on October 14th at 4 p.m. California time. October 14th, 4 p.m. California time. But it's not going to cost you $10,000 like Dreaming Rooms would cost. It's not going to cost you $5,000 like Dreaming Rooms would cost. You're not going to have to drive any place to come visit it like all my Dreaming Room participants have had to do. You're going to be able to do this in your living room. You're going to be able to do this in your car. You're going to be able to do this wherever you are. Of course, because this is a digital phenomenon that's actually real, but more importantly, I'm delivering it myself. Why myself? Because we're turnkeying the system to launch it worldwide so that every human being on the planet can do it for pennies. That simple. Why? Because we have a dream. And our dream is to transform the state of small business worldwide. And in order to do that, we have to touch everyone in the world to enable them to do this. To do what? To create a company of one and to grow it into a company of 1,000, step by step by step by step. So the first four steps, your dream, your vision, your purpose, your mission. The fifth step I call the job. And the job is simply your client fulfillment system. What's your client fulfillment system? It's the process by which you deliver the result that you promise your customer, your client. It's the product. It's the service. It's what you're about to deliver and the process through which you do that. Exactly like McDonald's does, exactly like Starbucks does, exactly like any turnkey system does. You got to build that client fulfillment system, and you got to build it so you can extend it to every single one of your central demographic model consumers in a way that tells them, wow, it worked. Wow, it worked. And it worked only like you intended it to work, to disrupt the world you're going out to bring your business to. So the first step of the fifth step is building your client fulfillment system. Your sixth step is the practice. And your practice is your client acquisition system. Lead generation, lead conversion. How do you generate the leads? How do you convert the leads? And finally, to what? To your client fulfillment system. So your practice is really a three-legged stool. Lead generation, lead conversion, client fulfillment. See the practice, see the franchise prototype. Your practice is your franchise prototype. Got to get the system down, got to get the system down, got to get the system integrated down, got to be able to quantify the impact of your lead generation, lead conversion, client fulfillment system. And you got to be able to deliver it through ordinary people in an extraordinary way. That's all that a great growing company does. They deliver a profoundly important impact in a way that they can replicate faithfully, scale faithfully, again and again and again and again and again. Think 10,000 stores. Now I'm speaking to you, and I know there are a whole bunch of guys out there thinking of themselves as solopreneurs, knowing they don't have the capital to build 10,000 stores. Know that what I'm talking about is absolutely outrageous and absurd. But hear me, if you don't approach your company as though you're preparing it to scale to 10,000 stores, you'll never sell it. Hear me, only a very small fraction of small companies ever get sold. A small fraction. Why? Because they're not scalable. In short, you can't ever get beyond where you are. And if you can't get beyond where you are, why would anybody want to buy it unless they're buying a job? But who wants to buy a job? And who wants to pay the kind of capital, the kind of money, the kind of investment you would wish to have for having done all this work, doing it for all the years you've been doing it or will be doing it? You understand my point? You got to build it to scale. You got to build it so you can replicate it. You got to build it so you can turn to Manny and say, now you do it. You can turn to Judy and you can say, now you do it. And you can turn to Jerry and you say, now you do it. And you know that Manny and Judy and Jerry are doing it, but each and every one of them are doing it in identically the same way. Why? Because it's turnkey. Now you've built your practice. Now you're ready to grow. To grow what? To turn your practice into a business. What's a business? A business is only up to 7 turnkey practices. A business is up to 7 turnkey practices plus a turnkey management system. How do I do that? How do I do that? How do I do? That's what we're going to teach you. That's what we're going to teach you. But first you got a dream, a vision, a purpose, and a mission. What do I want it to do? What do I want it to do? Why do I want it to do it? Why is that important in the world? For whom do I want to do it? And why do they need it? And why will they flock to my doors once I'm capable of doing it in this disruptive way that I'm capable of doing it? What difference will my company make? Hear me, it, not you. It, not you. This is not about personal branding. This is not about Michael E. Gerber. This is not about Jerry or Judy or Mabel or Minnie. It's not about anyone who wants to have your own personal identification out there in the marketplace. Meaning, if you're creating a personal brand, all you're doing is creating a demand for you to be there. If you're creating a personal brand, you're only creating a demand for you to be there. For you to be there means a job, not a company, not even a practice. Simply for you to be there, to do it. That might satisfy your ego and your narcissism to beat the band, but that's not why we're here. And that's not what great entrepreneurs do. Great entrepreneurs produce great impacts on the world. Hear me, the Google, the Facebook, the Apple, the on and on and on and on. Hear me, it works. It works. Because if it don't work, you will. And if you do, you got a job. I'm not here to simply give you a job. I'm here to create the most spectacular economic opportunity in the world that's ever been the most successful economic opportunity in the world. That means radical self-employment. That means beyond a job. And now you got a business. 7 practices make a business. A turnkey management system that makes sure that every single one of your practices is working in exactly the way you intended it to work. What's a practice? Well, it could be a chiropractor, it could be an attorney, it could be a cosmologist, it could be a whatever, archaeologist, whatever it is. You understand? Up to 7 of them. and enough clients coming in because your lead generation and lead conversion system have the capacity to grow, seven times, consistently, congruently, and in every single way, productively producing exactly what it is you've made up your mind to produce. Now you're ready to grow your business. And you grow your business to what? To an enterprise. And what's an enterprise? Thought simply, an enterprise is simply up to 7 turnkey businesses, meaning up to 49 turnkey practices, plus a leadership system. So an enterprise becomes the evolution of your company of one to become a great growing company that itself is scalable. Enterprise 1, Enterprise 2, Enterprise 3, Enterprise 4, McDonald's in the Chicago arena, McDonald's in the New York arena, McDonald's in the Los Angeles arena, McDonald's here, McDonald's there, McDonald's everywhere. That's an enterprise grown exponentially in identically the same fashion as I am saying you will grow from you, one, into many. And how do you do that? Through the process that I'm bringing to you. So there's a process, and there's only one way to do it. So why do I say only one way? And of course I'm saying it's my way, but you understand when I say it's my way, I say it's its way, and it's its way because all we have done is practiced it to the point we know, having applied it 100,000 times, having heard of the application of it millions of times from the millions of readers of my books. It works, Gerber. It works, Gerber. It works, Gerber. It works in real estate investing. It works in selling real estate. It works in buying real estate. It works in this. It works in that. It works in anything and everything. Whatever you're doing, hear this, write this down. It will work for you too. So that's my conversation for today. So I want to read some of the questions from last week, or the week before, because last week I was on the trip. To what extent are your teachings and systems of developing the job compatible with using social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, etc.? Can the social media be of use for our new company? Georgie. Well, Georgie, first of all, you got to understand, we're not talking about creating a job. Not in the way that it's normally thought about. We're talking about creating an enterprise. We're talking about creating a company of one, the job, to become a company of many, an enterprise. I just had a conversation with a gentleman who provides electronic equipment for cars. He has an operation in New Jersey, one small store. He's really perfected that store. He's applied the E-Myth to perfecting that store, but it's very, very small. He has also created another division that does that in a different way, but essentially he's sitting there, having been there for now, almost 20 years, with a very, very, very small company. And in asking him the questions about his participation in what was called E-Myth Mastery, and still is, he essentially said, well, I've done everything that I've been taught. I said, but you haven't. In short, you haven't grown. And so all of this stuff to learn isn't for the sake of learning it. It's not for the sake of being in school. It's for the sake of creating a company of one into a company of 1,000. It's to expand your reach, to touch millions of people. Yeah, but I don't want to do that, Michael. But I don't want to do that, Michael. But I don't want to do that, Michael. Well, that's simply because we haven't awakened the entrepreneur within you. Once we do, there's nothing else for you to do. With the only question left, how? And I can provide you with exactly how. Not generally how, but absolutely specifically how. And it starts with the first 4 steps, Georgie. It starts with the dream, the vision, the purpose, the mission. Now, if you're the Georgie that I just spoke to, you're coming to the Dream Room on October 14th at 4 p.m. California time. I'm leading it. 7 sessions, 90 minutes each session. You'll walk out with a dream, a vision, a purpose, and a mission. You'll walk out with a foundation for NewCo, for the company you're about to build, turnkey, from a job to a practice to a business to an enterprise. I'm going to take you every single step of the way. And I'm going to do that because I'm building the system to do that. So it's easier and more accessible for every human being on the street. Thanks for your question, George. I'm an MBA student at Biola University, Crowell School of Business, and one of the last courses I'm taking is entrepreneurship. Well, I'm deciding that, in fact, what the Crowell School of Business should understand is entrepreneurship should be the first thing you learn as you start that whole venture into your education. We're reading a few books, and your book is one of them. During class, a question was made: how do these principles apply in different economic cycles and times? For example, during times of recession. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Lewis from Carlsbad, California. Well, Lewis, what I'm talking about works always, everywhere, no matter what the economic times are. What I'm talking about is baseline. In short, if you don't do this, I can absolutely assure you whatever happens out there is going to crush in here. But by doing what I'm describing, you're safe no matter what the economy does, because you have the methodology for approaching every opportunity and every problem in a way that systemically is guaranteed to produce a stunning result. If you've got the discipline, if you've got the will, if you've got the determination, if you've got the desire, if you've got the obsession to do the one thing you're setting out to do. Why? Because it's so important. Hear me. That's the only reason an entrepreneur can get excited about anything, because it's so important. Stephen asks, what's the first business book you recommend anyone to read when he or she is first starting out? Well, I would have recommended the E-Myth Revisited to you, Stephen, before December 16th of 2016, when my last E-Myth book was published. And it's called Beyond the E-Myth, The Evolution of an Enterprise, from a company of one to a company of 1,000. That's the first book I would ask every single one of you to read. And then the second book I would suggest you read, not only suggest, I would tell you to read. You're in my class now. This is my school. This is the Gerber School of Entrepreneurial Economics. In my school, in this school, in Radical You, the second book you would read is The E-Myth Revisited, Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. And the third book you would read in my school is Awakening the Entrepreneur Within, How Ordinary People Can Create Extraordinary Companies, and so forth and so forth and so forth. The next thing I would have you do is to buy the course. The course is a video course. The course is essentially my video expression of the book Beyond the E-Myth. And if you want to see me speak to you about each and every one of these steps, get the course. And you can get the course very, very simply. The minute you come to the dreaming room, the minute you come to the dreaming room, the minute you enroll in the dreaming room for only $1,995, 7 weeks with me, 90 minutes a week, I'm going to give you a gift of the course, a $295 gift from me to you. So it's not $5,000, not $10,000, not $7,000, not $4,000. It's only $1,995 online with no additional expenses, and I'm going to give you the course to boot. So get Beyond the E-Myth, watch the course, join me in the dreaming room, Gerber81.com. Dear Mr. Gerber, this is from George, may not be the same George. My question to you are, what is the main difference between the course and the online dreaming room? What's the specific focus of each program? And which one will be more beneficial for me and why? Thank you for your dedication. Well, you join the program, the dreaming room, and you get the course, you'll understand the difference. The course is an overview of the entire eightfold process: the dream, the vision, the purpose, the mission, the job, the practice, the business, the enterprise. It gives you that overview. That overview is critical for you to comprehend and to internalize as you begin to do this very critical entrepreneurial work. So that's what it is, and that's the difference between the two. Leah in San Jose, California, what do you feel is missing in the way most small businesses are run? Leah, everything. Most small businesses are run like a catastrophe. In short, they're started like a catastrophe, and they continue catastrophically. Most small companies will never become big companies, and most small companies won't survive as small companies. And that's because there's no logic to them. To understand, there's a process I've just shared with you, Leah. And if you understand the process, first your heart, then your head. The dreamer has a dream, the thinker has a vision, the storyteller has a purpose, and the leader has a mission. There's a process, there's an architecture, there's an absolutely fundamental path, the eightfold path you must move through in order to create this great growing enterprise that ultimately you're preparing for sale. Your company is a product for sale. And I'm not talking about your retail customers. Of course, your products, your services are products for sale. I'm saying, however, from an entrepreneurial perspective, from an investor's perspective, your company is a product for sale. So when you go to work on your company with a dream, a vision, a purpose, a mission, a job, a practice, a business, and an enterprise, you're creating the system for sale so that someone will come to your door and say, how in the world do you do that? And you can show them how it does without you, not dependent upon you. It does. Because it works, because it's a system, because it's been architected, developed, designed, organized, produced to emphatically express a very specific point of view that lives behind your dream, your vision, your purpose, and your mission. You get it, Leah? That's why most small businesses don't work, because they're a catastrophe. Joe, San Diego, says, I'm trying to delegate responsibly within my business, but can't get over the fact that it's just easier for me to do something myself than teach someone to do it for me, which I know I should. How do you recommend someone change this mindset? Well, stop it, Joe. It's just that simple. Stop it. Just stop it. Just stop being stupid, Joe. Because if it's easier to do it yourself, hear me, you're going to continue to do it yourself for the rest of your life, which essentially predicts no growth. It can't grow if it depends upon Joe. Now, I just made that rhyme up, but what can I tell you? It can't grow if it depends upon Joe. You're really through if it depends upon Sue. So what I'm saying to you is get with it, because there's a process. That process is uniform, absolutely consistent, can be replicated by every single one of you, can be utilized to create this stunningly original company you're intending to create. I'm going to teach you the methodology for doing it, but not just teach it. Inspire you, teach you, train you, coach you, mentor you. And I'm going to do that online. And while I'm doing that online, we're preparing to grow it worldwide, independent of me. Why independent of me? For the very reason I'm sharing with you. Because to the degree it's not independent of me, it depends upon me. Guys, I'm 81. Now, I know I'm going to live to 146, but hear me, I'm 81 freaking years old. So why would I create a company that depends upon me when I wouldn't even do it when I was 41? And I launched the Michael Thomas Corporation, the very first business development coaching firm in the world. Talk about disrupt. There aren't any small business consultants anymore. They're called coaches. And this is John in Orange County. Michael, this has been more of a personal question, but it's something I've been wondering for quite some time. I've noticed from your live streams that you always wear your hat. Is this a part of your brand, a coincidence, or for another reason? John, it's a great question. If I weren't wearing this, I'd be wearing a yarmulke. And this is in honor of God. And so I wear a hat on my head. And just so happens I prefer the Panama hat to the yarmulke. And let me tell you why. Because one day, wearing my yarmulke, I was driving from here, my home, past the University of San Marcos, and somebody drove by to the side of my car and said, "Roll down your window." And I said, "Roll down my window." He said, "Jew, Jew, Jew, Jew." Then the guy in front of me slowed up, and I had to slow down, and two guys leaned out of those windows and did exactly the same thing. And a guy was right behind me in another car, and he did the same thing. And they gave me the finger, and they were most absolutely egregiously insulting. And I just blushed, because that had never happened to me before. Now, I'm 81. I'm a Jew living in America. I was born in 1936. I was raised during the time of the Holocaust. So you got to understand there's something very, very personal about it. But there was also something that I went to my rabbi and I told him the story, and he laughed when I said it. He said, "Are you kidding me? This is the first time you've experienced that?" I said, "Yes, Rabbi, the very first time." And so I left, and I decided I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to wear another hat. I was with my wife in Jacksonville, Florida, walking by the beach, and there was a little store there called the Panama Hat Store. And I looked in the window, nothing else in my mind, and I saw this Panama hat, and I said, "That's the one." And I've been wearing it ever since. Now, it's not just this one. I got about 8 of them. But that's the hat. That's why I'm doing it. Thought I'd share that with you. So, folks, there have been some questions today. Dale from Pennsylvania, real value here, and I'm not paid to say this. Well, thanks, Dale. And I'm not paid to say this either. So think about it. We're in the same boat. Lars Meyer, sending you love from Vancouver. Lars, I love you and I miss you. And how come we haven't seen each other for so long? You got to contact me, Lars. So much happening here. We're about to launch Radical You. We're about to launch Radical You to awaken the true entrepreneur and every single human being on the street. Every kid graduating from high school is going to create a business of his own, of her own. Every individual graduating from college with $37,000 in college debt, every single one of them deserve to, in fact, discover how to create a world of their own by creating a company of their own, but nobody's teaching them how to do that. We're going to teach them how to do that. And we're going to teach them how to do that for only $39.95 a month in the only university on the planet that teaches pragmatic entrepreneurship in real time. We're going to start the company of one in millions of cases. Think about it. Think every job and enterprise. Write that down. Think every job and enterprise. And think every life a legacy. Every job and enterprise, every life a legacy. It's got to mean something. It recalls to me that great book, the most successful hardback book of all time by Pastor Rick Warren, called The Purpose-Driven Life. Read that book. Read that book while you're reading my books. But most of all, go to Gerber81.com. Go to Gerber81.com. I got another one. Hi, Michael, from Glasgow, Scotland. Rory Friel. Hello, Rory. You got me? Well, I think I'm done for today. I've told you exactly how to transform the state of small business worldwide. I've told you exactly the process for going to work on your company, not in your company, and I promise you I'm going to make it incredibly simple for you. So every single one of you who sign up for my dreaming room, the live dreaming room I'm going to deliver, starting on October 14th at 4 p.m. California time, every single one of you who do that are then going to be entitled to join me in my initial program for only $39.95 a month, so you can go to work on your job, your practice, your business, your enterprise. But you got to come to the dreaming room first. You got to do that, because until you do that, you'll have nothing to build on. You got it? I'm delighted. Thank you for joining me. This is Michael E. Gerber speaking to you from Carlsbad, California, the land that God created just for you and just for me. Bye-bye.